Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're skipping the usual stuff. No VC applications, no calendar hacks, none of that.
Right.
We're diving into something, well, deeper, more valuable maybe. It's the hidden mental frameworks, the sort of psychological code elite entrepreneurs use. The stuff they rely on daily but, never really talk about openly.
That's the absolute core of it.
Yeah.
And our source material for this dive from Tarren Wicklow, he's really clear on this.
Yeah.
The secret isn't the strategy, it's the psychology.
Yeah.
So this whole analysis, it's purely about perception shifts, inner mechanics.
So we're deliberately cutting past the surface level hacks.
Exactly. The productivity tips everyone else chases. We're going underneath that.
Okay, so our mission here is really to give you a shortcut, a way to get instantly informed about this mental code Wicklow talks about.
To find those invisible rules.
Yeah, understand how the psychological setup actually separates the top 1%, the real institution builders, from, everyone else drowning in tips and tricks.
Okay, let's dive straight into that because it's really the central idea in the source material. Why is the psychology bit so fundamental?
Yeah, why do the real heavy hitters focus on fixing their mindset before strategy? Well, Wicklow uses this analogy. If your internal psychological foundation is shaky, then no external strategy, doesn't matter how brilliant, how well-funded, it just won't last. Strategy is just executing your thinking.
Right. If the thinking's off.
The execution falls apart eventually. So the material promises that making this shift, adopting this internal code, it brings profound clarity, real confidence.
And that phrase, almost unfair decisiveness.
Yeah, unfair decisiveness.
Sounds potent, less like just a personality trait.
It's a tactical advantage. It means they don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. When something big happens, competitor folds, new regulation pops up.
The usual reaction is caution. Confusion.
Right. Internal confusion, lots of hedging. But the elite mind, using this code, they filter the data through their process and the decision. It's just there. Defined my conviction. So instead of, maybe we'll buy them.
It's, we are acquiring them because XYZ. That conviction forces everyone else, investors, partners, rivals, to react to their reality.
Not just the general market uncertainty.
Exactly. They're not just reacting, they're dictating the terms.
So when the source talks about reshaping reality on their terms, it's literally about bending perception through sheer conviction and speed.
Precisely. They set the pace. They bypass all that emotional drag that slows down, 99% of their rivals who are waiting for everyone to agree or for perfect certainty.
Whatever comes.
Right. So this deep dive, it's for you if you're really done with the fluff and want the raw psychological engine behind these kinds of results.
Okay, that sets up the mechanics nicely. Let's start with perception. The material says the first key is spotting leverage and opportunity, seeing patterns others miss.
That's the crucial difference. When most people look at a complex market or maybe some big geopolitical shift causing chaos.
They see risk, uncertainty.
Yeah, chaos. And that complexity, it's paralyzing. The psychological default is often, mitigate risk, retreat.
But the elite mindset sees the same situation differently.
Totally differently. They see that confusion, that volatility as a window, a prime opportunity. They know that when the ground shifts violently, when old rules break down, that's the moment to capitalize. They're not hoping. They're trained pattern spotters looking for asymmetric bets.
So if the market's panicking over a dip,
they're not seeing risk in the same way. They're seeing undervalued assets maybe, or a chance to grab market share while everyone else is frozen.
Wow. That ability to just instantly reframe threat into chance.
That's a primary separator, absolutely.
That perception shift is massive. But acting on it needs, serious mental stamina. Especially now. We live in the most distracting time ever. So how does this mindset handle focus? That's the second element, right? It demands building ruthless focus. The sources really hammer this. Eliminating mental noise is essential prep for high-stakes decisions. Ruthless focus. Not just try to focus more.
No. They see focus as a critical strategic resource, something to be guarded fiercely.
And mental noise, is that just doom scrolling, social media?
That's part of it, but it's mainly the internal stuff, the worry, the comparing yourself to others, the second guessing on low-impact things, that repetitive loop of thoughts that don't actually move the needle.
Okay.
Think about a founder in a crisis. Big PR mess, maybe a product launch failing.
Yeah. The typical internal chatter is overwhelming. Did I screw up? What will people say?
Yeah.
The elite mind, they've done the work to filter that out instantly.
Did they allocate their cognitive energy? Strictly. Efficiently. Define the desired outcome? execute the immediate steps, internal distraction, they treat that as self-sabotage. Cut it out.
Aggressively cut it out. Okay. Speaking of pressure, let's pivot to action. Dealing with fear and doubt. This is where so many talented people just stall.
They hesitate, lose momentum.
What does this mental code do with those negative emotions? Avoid them. Actually, the opposite. It uses a really counterintuitive mechanic, turning fear and doubt into fuel. Fuel, not something to suppress.
Right. Most advice is avoid fear. Visualize success until it goes away. This code says use it. Fear and doubt signal you're at the edge, an edge of growth, or a leverage point.
So you act through the fear, not wait for it to vanish.
Exactly. You push through the resistance because of the fear, not in spite of it.
Okay, but isn't that just dressing up recklessness? Or is there a real psychological distinction?
The difference is discipline. It's not reckless because the action is informed by that clarity and ruthless focus we just talked about.
Oh, okay. It's connected.
Yeah. Take a founder facing, say, a huge legal deadline. Missing it sinks the company. The fear is real.
Right.
The average response. Maybe retreat into planning, delay the tough calls, the elite response. Recognize that intense fear is energy, potent energy that must be deployed.
Deployed how?
Channel it. Work faster. Communicate more directly. Make the bold, simplifying decision that cuts through the mess. The fear pushes the action. It doesn't stop it.
That takes serious guts. And it links to that idea of timing acting before you feel ready.
Absolutely. You act with power, with confidence, even if that internal feeling of readiness isn't quite there yet.
Because waiting for ready is
Perfectionism, which they see as paralysis. Waiting for 100% certainty is a way to dodge responsibility, basically. They get that confidence isn't just a result of preparation.
It's part of the action itself.
Yeah, you use it to influence the outcome.
And this self-mastery, it applies to managing emotional energy too. Not just fear, but everything.
Correct. Emotional energy is seen as a tool, strategically, not a trap you fall into.
So excitement, frustration, even boredom.
They're all data points. Strategic resources to be deployed. Frustration, for example. It's not just something to vent about.
It's a signal.
A high-energy signal that something is fundamentally broken and needs fixing.
Right.
So you harness that energy for immediate, radical change, not wasted complaining.
Wow, that's a very active way of managing internal states, far beyond just stay positive.
It's self-mastery applied to long-term complex problems.
Okay, so let's trace this outward. All this intense internal work focus, handling fear, managing energy, how does it impact dealing with other people? Influence, persuasion?
It leads straight to what the source calls mastering invisible persuasion.
The visible persuasion.
The ability to shift minds, influence outcomes.
Yeah.
Often without needing to say much at all.
How does that work?
Your internal clarity, that confidence, the decisiveness, it just projects outward. It creates this powerful aura of competence. People instinctively want to align with that.
Like a kind of silent authority. How would that play out in, say, a tense negotiation?
Well, if you walk in having already cut out all that internal noise and doubt.
You know your position. Cold.
With absolute conviction. Your floor, your ceiling. You don't need to argue endlessly or oversell. You just state the reality based on your internal code.
And others pick up on that.
They sense that unshakable certainty. The fact that you aren't battling yourself internally, that gives your vision authority. You're not asking them to align.
You're asserting the path forward.
And that internal consistency pulls others along, naturally.
Okay.
This feels like it's building towards something bigger. Which brings us to the final piece, this overarching framework. The legacy lens. Reframing success beyond just the immediate win. It's about lasting impact.
It's the ultimate motivational shift, really. This whole mindset is geared towards building something that fundamentally outlives you.
50, 100 years out.
That kind of time scale. And when a founder's perspective stretches that far, it totally changes the math on today's decisions. Short-term profits, they become secondary.
To what?
Long-term value creation, durability, building something robust.
How does thinking about legacy affect something tactical, like choosing a supplier or setting a price? Well, if you're just chasing quarterly profits.
You picked the cheapest vendor, the price that maximizes immediate return.
Right. Maybe sacrifice quality or future options.
But if you're operating with a legacy lens, you prioritize building a durable institution.
So that might mean
choosing the more expensive supplier if they guarantee higher quality. Designing products for longevity, not just trends. Building partnerships that are genuinely win-win for decades.
the legacy lens forces a higher standard.
a more rigorous standard of action, of commitment, because the outcome you're aiming for is, well, permanent in a way.
So let's wrap this up. What we've gone through today, it's definitely not a motivational pep talk. This source material positions itself as more like internal weaponry, a blueprint for psychological change.
Yeah, mental weaponry is a good way to put it.
We've basically looked at the raw psychological code used by these legacy builders, these industry shapers. The key seems to be they change the code inside their own heads first. Absolutely. And if you've been, watching others succeed while you feel kind of stuck.
Yeah.
If you know you can do more but haven't unlocked it.
The core message here is really direct. Shifting that internal mental code is the only path forward. You have to get past the hesitation. Start seeing your emotions, even the tough ones, as fuel. Fuel for decisive action, not traps to get stuck in.
Exactly.
Okay, final thought then. We've seen how these top performers define success by building something that outlasts them. So, applying that legacy lens, what does it reveal about the core decisions you are making right now? Not just about your strategy, but about the actual quality, the ambition of the thing you're truly building. Something to chew on.